Welcome, stackers! Before we get started, I just want to remind you that I'm not a financial advisor and that all of the information I'm going to provide in this video is from personal research only. I invite you to do your own research before you make any decision. So in this video, we'll be going into the cost of acquisition of the precious metals and all of the aspects that you should consider before making a purchase. I invite you to press the like button right away and to subscribe to the channel so that you are informed every time I post a video. So what are premiums? In essence, premiums are the charges that are added on top of the value of the base metal. What affects premiums? The first factor would be if the coin or if the bar that you're purchasing is designed for base metal value only, or if it's designed as a collectible item. If it's designed as a base metal only, the price will be very close to the price of the metal on the market. And this is also true for collectible items. So basically, even if it's a collectible coin, the base value of that coin is always what the metal is worth. But if it's a collectible, usually there will be an amount of money that will be added on top because people are willing to pay more for it. So when it comes to numismatics or collectibles, the three most important factors are the rarity. So for example, if there was a very limited run of a specific coin that was made, let's say they only produced 5,000, this will increase its value. Or if it's a coin that over time, like if it's a coin that was in circulation and there's very few of them remaining, that will also affect its value. So the condition will have an impact. If, for example, the coin is worn or if it's damaged, then for a collector, that is going to be worth a lot less. As a base metal, it makes no difference. And the last factor would be if the coin is in high demand or not. So what affects the premiums? So the first factor that you should be considering would be the type of metal it is. One of the aspects that affects the premium is the type of metal. So depending if it's, for example, copper, silver, gold, platinum, palladium, or rhodium, they all have different premium depending on their type, where copper is the worst and gold is the best. All right, so let's look into the kind of product that you're able to buy and how it affects the premiums. So one of the very popular type of silver that you're going to be able to find on the market is constitutional silver, which is also called scrap silver. These are coins that were in circulation, which were dimes, nickels, quarters, dollars, and dollars in the US, and other countries have them as well. And usually the dates will be before 1965. The silver content of these coins is usually 90%. The other type of metal that you can purchase is bars, which are also called ingots. These usually have the best premiums. Then you have bullions. So bullions are usually coins and they are legal currencies, so they can be used at face value to purchase items on the market. But just keep in mind that if you do that, you're going to be losing a lot of money because the face value written on the coin is always a lot lower than what the actual metal value of the coin is. The fourth kind of product that you can purchase are rounds and shields, which are basically the same thing. And these are coins that are not currency, so you cannot use them directly at stores to purchase items. They are only valued based on the weight of the metal that they contain. Then you have trinkets and arts. These are usually poured silver, for example, or items made of precious metals, which could be silver, gold, or other items. These usually have very high premiums because you're paying for the craft itself. So you're paying for the fact that someone is, creating something of beauty out of the metal. So when you try to resell it, you have to find someone who will find the item attractive and will be willing to pay the high premium for it. So as an investor, it's not a good investment generally, but if you like that kind of thing, there are a lot of beautiful items available on the market. And finally, there's jewelry. Again, jewelry, you're paying most of the price of the jewels are not for the actual metal and gems that they contain, but for the craft and the art behind it. So that premium is actually lost when you try to resell. Generally, jewelry is not a good kind of investment. Other costs of acquisitions that you should be looking into would be, for example, delivery charges. So if you order online and the site where you order charges you for delivery, this will increase the price of the metal that you're purchasing. So basically it's an additional premium added on top of the actual coin or bar that you're purchasing. Same goes for insurances. So if the company puts insurances and charges you for it, then those are extra charges again that have no value to you, and it's a pure cost. The third thing that you should consider is that if you're driving somewhere to purchase the coins, then you have to take into consideration the gas, and if you have parking fees, for example, that will also increase your cost of acquisition. Then there is protection in containers, so either capsules for coins, for example, or if you purchase boxes to put the coins into, that type of thing, or sleeves, or all sorts of ways to preserve the metal. If you decide to use that, then those are additional costs that you must keep in mind. Then there's the cost of storage. So if you store the items directly in your house, it could be free. So depending on the size of your stack, if you can find a good hiding place for it and you don't need any additional security, then that would not be a cost. But if you decide to purchase a safe, for example, to put your metal into, then that's an additional cost. Or if you decide to store the metal offsite at a bank or at a private vault, again, you'll have to pay for that, and that's an additional cost that you have to calculate. So now, how can you calculate your premiums and see if a metal is worth buying or not? So there are two formulas in order to do this. I'm going to give you both formulas with an example for it. So the first formula is to calculate the premium per ounce. This is the actual cost of the metal on top of the value of the metal itself. And the way you calculate it is to use the cost per ounce that you're paying, and you subtract the spot price at the moment of purchase. The second formula is the initial cost of acquisition, and this will give you the percentage that you're paying extra in order to obtain the metal. The way to calculate this is to take the premium that we've calculated in the first formula and divide it by the spot price. So in this example, we're purchasing a 10-ounce silver bar, and the dealer is selling it for $253.79. And during that time, the spot price in the market is $23.37 per ounce. So the way to calculate it would be to take the $353.79 of the cost of the bar itself. You divide it by 10 because it's a 10-ounce bar. And then you deduct the spot price, which is $23.37 from that total. This would give you a cost per ounce of $25.38 minus the $23.37, which would be $2.01 per ounce. And your actual premium for the bar itself would be $20.01. Now that we know the premium per ounce, we can calculate the initial cost of acquisition. So you're taking your premium and you're dividing it by the spot price. So that's $2.01 for each ounce, divided by the $23.37, and we get an initial cost of acquisition of 8.6%. So here are the things that you should consider when you buy any type of metal. So the first thing is to calculate the cost of acquisition for each of the items that you're looking into. So when you decide to make a purchase, always calculate the premiums and the cost of acquisition for each of the items that you're planning to buy. This is the most important aspect because the premium is a pure loss for you. So when you purchase, the premium that you're paying, the metal will have to increase in value to that level before you break even. So the higher the premium you pay, the longer you're going to be at a loss, and the longer it's going to take for you to actually make money holding the metal. The second aspect is that local market conditions will affect the premiums. And don't forget to add the additional costs such as gas, delivery, insurance, things like that to the purchase so that you have the true cost of acquisition. All right, so let's compare the different forms of metal that you can purchase. So in this example, we all have silver products, all weighing 1 ounce, and we can go over the cost together. So these are all real numbers that I've taken out of a dealer on a specific day. So the first item is the Silver Royal Canadian Mint bar. That bar was selling for $26.11. That's Canadian money, so if you're in the US, you're probably gonna think that the price is a little bit high, depending on what the market is at when you're watching the video, but this is Canadian money, but it makes no difference. If it was in the US, the numbers would be very similar. It would be probably lower in price, but the percentages would be the same. In this example, for example, the Royal Canadian Mint bar was selling for $26.11. The spot price at the time was $23.37. So the premium for the bar was $2.74. Which gives us an initial cost of acquisition of 11.72%. Then if we compare that to another product that the Royal Canadian Mint produces, which is the Maple Leaf, which is their most recognized item. So the bullion was selling for $27.03. Of course, the spot price is exactly the same. The premium is thus $3.66. And we have an initial cost of acquisition of 15.66%, which is a little bit over 4% more than an equivalent bar. Then another Royal Canadian Mint product that they make is the Predator series. This was for the Wolf coin, which was on special when I looked into it. Normally it's a bit more expensive than that. These are probably considered semi-collectible, so it's they're going to be a little bit more expensive because of it. And most rounds are more expensive than bullions in general. The price for the item when I was looking at the dealers was $27.30. Which gives us a premium of $3.93 and an initial cost of acquisition of 16.82%. And finally, the last coin that's listed there is a collectible coin. This is the Captain America from the Marvel series. This item was selling for $35.15 with a premium of $11.78 and a total initial cost of acquisition of 50.41%. So as you can see, there is a huge spread in terms of cost of acquisition, especially for the numismatic stuff. So if you purchase collectibles, as you can see, you're paying a lot more for the coins, and you have no guarantee that you're going to be able to sell it back at the price that you purchased it. So you're taking a gamble. So if you decide to go into collectibles, I would strongly suggest you do a lot of research to see what people are into, what actually is popular, what usually gains value, that type of thing, so that you know what you're doing. If you're simply buying anything on the market and you decide to purchase something that other people are not interested in, it's going to be very hard to sell, and if you do manage to sell it, you might only get the base value of the metal. So for example, in this case, if you were selling back the coin as just base metal, instead of $35, it would be worth $23. So you're taking over 50% loss from not being able to gain back the premium that you paid. So let's have a look at gold. The first item is the Royal Canadian Mint bar. This one sells for $2,093.86, and the spot price at the time was $2,021.38. So the premium on the bar is $72.48, which gives us a 3.59% cost of acquisition. As you can see, that's much lower than what you would be paying for silver. Then the gold Maple Leaf bullion was selling for $2,100. So this gives us a premium of $79.54 and an initial cost of acquisition of 3.93%. Finally, we have a collectible round. This is the Panda series. So this one was selling for $2,131.36. And the premium on this is $109.98. So as you can see, it's much higher in terms of premium. You're looking at 5.44% for this one. Another aspect that will influence the price of what you're purchasing is the size of the item. So if we take, for example, a silver bar from Asahi, which is a Japanese refiner, for 1 ounce, you're looking at $26.11. And the premium on this is $2.74. Which gives us an initial cost of acquisition of 11.72%. The same bar in 10 ounce size was selling for $253.79 with a premium of $20.09, which lowers our initial cost of acquisition to 8.60%. And finally, if you were to purchase the same bar in 100 ounces, the price would be $2,451.89, which would give you a premium of $114.89. And your initial cost of acquisition would be 4.92%, which is getting closer to what gold would sell at. It's a little bit higher than gold at the same value, but it's close. We can have another look at size prices for gold this time. So with gold, you can go fractional. So that means that you can purchase items that are less than 1 ounce and still be in a good position in terms of initial cost of acquisition compared to where silver is. With silver, you can't really go with fractional because the cost of acquisition would be crazy high. You'd be looking at probably 50% or more. So there is no way you can make back that money in a normal amount of time. So if we look at the gold leaf in the 1/10 of an ounce, you'd be looking at $221.74 with a premium of $19.60 for a total cost of acquisition of 9.70%, which is just a little bit higher than in terms of premiums than what you'd be paying for a 10-ounce silver bar. Then you have the quarter ounce, which would be selling for $539.46. And the premium on that would be $34.12 with a cost of acquisition of 6.75%. At that premium, it's more attractive than a 10-ounce silver bar, but in order to match the value in terms of price, you would have to purchase 20 ounces, so 2 bars instead of the 1 coin, but you would be getting a lower premium doing that. So that is an option if you're planning to invest around like $500 in that range. The quarter ounces become attractive at that point. And finally, if we look at the standard bullion, which is the 1 ounce, we looked at it earlier, so it's $2,100.92 with a premium of $79.54 and initial cost of acquisition of 3.93%. Now, if we have a look at the different metal types and how they affect the cost of acquisitions and the premiums, you're going to see that this makes a tremendous difference. The worst metal you can purchase is copper. So let's look at a copper buffalo, which is a round. So for 1 ounce, you're looking at a cost of $1.75, but the value of the metal itself in the coin is only 17 cents. So the premium on the coin is $1.58, which means that your initial cost of acquisition is over 900%. So basically you're paying 10 times what the metal is worth when you're purchasing that coin. Can you sell it back with the premium? If you think you can, it could be interesting to buy, but I would only suggest you buy that if you want to have an interesting piece in your collection, not for trying to make money or old value or anything like that, because as you can see, the premium is crazy. It just makes no sense at all to purchase that. So in terms of silver, as we looked earlier, for a maple leaf, which is the basic bullion, it's 15.66%. So again, if you were gonna invest into bars, I wouldn't suggest you purchase maple leaves. I would suggest you purchase bars and probably larger size than 1 ounce. But just as a term of comparison here between the metals, we're at 15%, which is one of the highest, of course, because the metal is valued at a much lower price. This is the second highest in terms of cost of acquisition. So you should be trying to find ways to reduce that amount. So the third item, gold, the gold maple leaf. Gold is, in terms of acquisition, is the metal that will have the lowest premiums, no matter what size you're looking at an equivalent size, of course. So at 3.93%, which is very, very low. Then if you go into platinum, the funny thing about platinum is that the price of the metal should be higher than gold because it's rarer than gold. And if you look at currencies that use platinum, for example, in Britain, they have a platinum coin as well as a gold coin. The face value on the platinum coin is higher than the face value on the gold coins. So that tells you how the market should be pricing them. But right now, platinum is undervalued and the price of gold is higher. In terms of premiums, platinum has a worse premium by far. It's over twice the premium that you would pay on gold. Then we have palladium. Palladium right now is worth a ton. It had an incredible year. It went up, if memory serves, about 70% in the last year. And right now it's selling at $3,354.96 for 1 ounce. And the premium on that is $357.35, which gives us an initial cost of acquisition of $11.92. And now we have the most expensive precious metal, which is rhodium. Rhodium right now is selling at $11,569.51 for 1 ounce. And the premium is $1,000, $514.08, which gives us a 15% cost of acquisition on that metal. Here are some recommendations that I have for you before you go buying. So the first thing is, before you go shopping, I strongly suggest you make a budget. The reason for this is that it's very easy once you're at the dealer or once you're on the website to start adding more stuff that you planned to buy. And if you spend too much and then you run out of money and you need to sell the metal, you're going to be taking a loss. So as we looked earlier, like if you're purchasing silver, basically you could be losing 15% right away. And there is a cost for selling as well. So usually they will give you a little bit under spot. So it might be 1, 2, 3% depending on the place you're selling to. So if you add the 3% or 2% for the sell to the say 15% for the buy, you're looking at almost 20% loss if you sell within a short amount of time. So of course the market could have moved and could have covered the gap in the meantime. Usually the price for precious metals are pretty stable, so they normally don't get a lot of value or lose a lot of value during a short amount of time. It's important that when you decide to invest into the precious metal, that it's for the long run, and thus you should budget accordingly. The other suggestion I have is to always buy the items that will give you the best premiums at the lowest cost of acquisition. If there are, like, say 5 or 6 items that pique your interest when you're shopping, do the math, see what's the best buy, and purchase that. As a rule of thumb, purchasing the largest bar you can afford in a specific metal will give you the best deal. So for example, if you decide to purchase silver, well, the price of a 5-ounce silver bar will usually be lower than the price of a 1 ounce, and the price of a 10 ounce will be lower than the price of the 5 ounce, and so on. The one exception to this is that sometimes vendors will have a promotion. For example, they might be trying to liquidate a coin, or they might have a promotion that, for example, if you purchase one specific item, they will give you the item at spot price. Or another thing they sometimes do is they will not charge for shipping for specific items. So this should influence your decision, of course, because it is one of the factors to consider. But when you compare the products, the math will reflect the promotions, and usually those items will be more attractive in terms of price. And as I stated earlier, gold almost always have the best cost of acquisition at a specific price point. And the last recommendation, look for deals. Most vendors have deals from time to time. There are specific sites that you can go to that will give you the deals for all of the dealers. So that's one very nice way to look into that. If you purchase locally, ask the clerk if they have anything on special, or if they have a promotion going. As I said earlier, one of the best deals that you can get usually is that they often will be able to sell you one item at spot price. Usually, in terms of silver, it's going to be a 10-ounce bar. The other nice thing is free shipping. So if the vendor offers that, try to take advantage of it. Usually they will have a minimum purchase price. So for example, for the sites I visit, usually it's around $200 to $300. It might be different in the US because I know that shipping in the US is much, much less expensive. But you should be looking into that for sure. Try to purchase metals that are not overvalued. So you should be able to do that if you learn how to read the charts. So basically you can look at the chart for silver, the chart for gold, the chart for all of the metals, and see if there was a huge rise in price, say for example in the last 6 months, then the metal might not be the best buy at the moment. You might want to try to purchase a metal that has lost value recently. This way it will be under price. This is technical analysis. I don't want to cover that, but there are, like, if you do a search on YouTube for technical analysis, you should be able to find plenty of videos explaining how to do it. The other thing I suggest is to keep track of your stack in a spreadsheet. So you should record the purchase price and calculate your average cost. And when I say purchase price, if you have additional, expenses like delivery or gas and things like that, you should add that to the amount so that you know exactly how much you paid for the coin. And calculating your average will give you a good idea of how much you paid, and it's easy to do a comparison with current market price to see if you're currently making money or if you're losing money. Obviously, if you decide to sell, you should sell when you're in a profit, not when you're losing. Finally, I suggest you try to keep it fun. It's always more interesting to do stuff when we enjoy it. So one of the way you can do that is to mix a little bit of collecting into your stacking. For example, what I do is I purchase bullions from the different countries. It doesn't have high premium on top. You're looking usually at a few percent point. It gives me like something to look forward to when I make a purchase. Now, if you're evaluating different products and they all have the same price, then I would suggest you try to purchase different things. So, for example, if you're stacking bars from Canada, for example, and the US bars are at the same price, well, why not purchase those this time around? This way, when you have a look at your stack, you're going to have a variety of products, not all of the same item. You can also watch videos. There are several channels on YouTube that are dedicated to precious metals. So, there's a lot of content that you can consume that way. You can read blogs, for example. There are websites you can go to with forums, for example, where you can get information about the precious metals and the collecting aspect and everything. Usually the deals, when the deal comes up, someone will mention it, so you can take advantage of that to find them. Those are all things that if you are interested in collecting and investing, that you should be looking into. Also, you should set objectives. So examples of objectives could be a certain amount of metal that you would purchase at each month or each year, for example. Or if you're looking to flip, so basically to purchase and then resell, then set an objective of at what price you would be starting to sell your metal. Same thing could be done for purchasing. If the metal is really expensive at the moment and you're planning to purchase in the future, determines at what price it would make sense for you to purchase it. Or you could look into different metals if you have the money to purchase, for example, gold when silver is expensive. That would be another way to go about it. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. It took me quite a while to prepare it, and I hope the information was clear and gives you a good idea of how to look at the market now. So I invite you to smash the like button and to subscribe to the channel. This way you're going to be informed every time I post a video. On this, I wish you a great day and happy stacking.